What up, peeps? Welcome back to the flip side. Want to give a quick shout out to somebody that reached out to me. My guy, Lord Skullway, he's an artist. He reached out to me, and I liked a bunch of his stuff. And if you're keeping up with my Discord server, I promoted him. He's got his own role. Check out his stuff. Make sure to, visit his Twitter. I'll give a link to it in the description down below in this video. But thanks for the offer, man. I would love to promote you. And to anybody else watching, don't be afraid to reach out to me. Go to my Discord server in the link down below. It's in my channel. The Discord server link is in my channel. You just have to go in there, contact me. I'll check out your stuff, and I'll try to get my other guys to promote you as well the best that I can. But yeah, so quick shout out to this guy. Go check him out, and without further ado, let's get into the video here. The tier list for the Mortal Kombat 1 story characters. Now, this is the best I could find. I couldn't find any of the characters the cameo characters. That's what I was trying to say. I couldn't find any tier lists with the cameo characters, but let's just say they're all in D tier. All right, let's just cameo. Yeah, there we go. Cameo characters. So, starting off, we got Shang Tsung over here, S tier character. I don't like him as much as I do in Mortal Kombat 11, because he's way more evil and way more, let's just say, malicious and scheming and way more powerful. Here, he's like a Shang Tsung light sort of guy. He gets beaten by Baraka even, and he got beaten by Sub-Zero, and he got beaten by Scorpion in a cutscene. I don't even want to call him Scorpion. And I like the fight with Raiden and Quan Chi and him against Dark Shao Kahn. I also liked the Deadly Alliance team up here. Oh, and by the way, Quan Chi's not on this list in here, but he's gonna go in A tier as well, so don't think I forgot about him. But Shang Tsung clearly outperformed Quan Chi. It's really sad that, we have a Deadly Alliance where one outperforms the other, which is, really dumb. I remember in Deadly Alliance, Quan Chi actually beat the shit out of Shang Tsung in the Deception opening cutscene. So there's that. Anyway, good character. I like his voice actor. He's not as good as MK11. As Titan Shang Tsung once said, he's you or me. More accurately, a poor facsimile. Alright, next we got Baraka. I'm gonna put him in A tier, alright? Everybody's like, what? What? No way. He's an S tier character. This is like the best we've seen of Baraka. Did you even play his chapter? Blah, blah, blah. He doesn't get S tier because he's a sad character now. Alright, I already explained this in part 3 of my story mode critique. That the invention of this Tarkat disease, where, Tarkatans aren't just a race anymore, so we just obliviated. Is that a word, obliviated? Whatever. Just completely demolished the entire Tarkatan race. And now it's just, it's a disease you can catch where it makes you look ugly as hell, and then it slowly kills you, turning you into a savage monster. And don't go in my fucking comments and say it's a new timeline, blah blah blah. Okay, well, you know what? It's not a fucking It's not the fictional character Liu Kang's fault for changing the timeline. It's goddamn NetherRealm Studios wanting to ruin our characters. For some reason, for some stupid fucking reason, I got a lot of shit to say about these characters because it pisses me the fuck off. Anyway, Baraka's chapter, probably one of the best. I have a big problem with it though, because a large chunk of it is just him fighting other Tarkatans, just a bunch of NPCs. You know, I mean, he breaks everybody out of the flesh pits, allowing them to escape from the deadly gas. So he saved nearly a third of the roster here. So props to him. Anyway, I also really like that conspiracy theory. No, it's not a conspiracy theory, but I really like that Mortal Kombat theory where Baraka is the farmer that approached Shang Tsung before Chapter 1 and said, I gave you everything that I had, but guess what? It was nothing. My family died anyway. I think that was probably him. Anyway, he's in A tier because he's just a sad character now, and the Tarkatans are ruined. He did beat Shang Tsung in a fight though. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, next, Li Mei. Li Mei is cool. You know what? I'm gonna put her in. I'm gonna put her in A tier. Nah. You know what? No, she goes in B tier. She had her own chapter, but she's really not that cool of a character. I liked her better in the 3D era when in her arcade ending she betrayed everybody to Onaga. So you know what kind of character she is deep down, but that's never shown in the real game. Actually, it's not canon, and it wasn't shown in MK1. But I wish that we could have had that sort of fan service to where, you know, we had a hint that Li Mei actually wants to join up with Shao Kahn, you know, and be... I don't know. I just like that idea of Li Mei betraying everybody from that one arcade ending she has. Anyway, basically all she did was just defeat some guys to get Liu Kang to Sindel's throne. That's about it. I mean, she got defeated by Raiden here and got the look of shame by everybody as she walked off. She's got some depth. I mean, she's in this tournament to, you know, get on Sindel's better side because she failed to protect the castle or whatever, and that resulted in Jared's death. Oh, and by the way, Jared is probably going to be B tier as well. So, there you go, guys. I'm not even going to talk about Jared because I don't give a shit about him. He should have never came back. Anyway, next, we've got Smoke. He didn't really do a lot. He played a big role in Chapter 1 and in Chapter 8. I think it was Chapter 8, yeah, with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Man's getting treated real harshly from Sub-Zero over here. I mean, god dang. Anybody else disappointed with his character design here? I talked about this in part 1 of my story mode critique, but I'm going to say it again. I really wish that they had kept his long hair. It would have made him look really unique, but he just looks like a plain-ass ninja with a knife. That's basically all he looks like. I mean, Scorpion and Sub-Zero look cooler than him. I mean, yeah, he's Smoke, so he has to be gray and all that stuff. But, you know, Smoke usually stood out from all the other ninjas. They all usually stood out from each other. But Smoke just looks like a plain Jane over here with a shit-ass haircut. You know, his long, smoke-like hair used to be one of his trademarks. But not anymore, I guess. Maybe it'll grow longer in the next game. Anyway, next, Rain. Rain, you sucked. You talked the talk, but you couldn't walk the walk. And the most you did in the story mode was try to intimidate the Deadly Alliance by doing that little water wall thing around them, but that was it. Was that even fucking... Was that Dark Rain or Real Rain? I don't know, but Rain, you sucked. Anyway, Raiden. Raiden's gonna go in A tier. He's just a good character overall. He didn't really do all that much after chapter 3, and we didn't see a lot of him until Shang Tsung's chapter. But Shang Tsung carried that chapter, so I don't want to hear anything about Raiden over here. Shang Tsung carried that entire chapter. Anyway, next character, Mileena, S tier. She really got her glow up in this story mode. Not gonna lie to you guys. Although I am never gonna get over her little headpiece. Her entire costume does not shout royalty at all. It shouts Tarkatan. It gives off more Mortal Kombat X vibes than it does, Princess of Outworld vibes. They should have, if they were gonna go, a Mortal Kombat X sort of get up here, they should have went with her flashback get up to where she was the ruler of Outworld. And I still don't like that she's the ruler of Outworld after the game. It should have went back to Jared, who was the king until he died, right? Or it should have went to Katana, since Mileena's the one with the Tarkat disease, right? And, just because this whole story mode doesn't mean that the people of Outworld still fear the Tarkat disease. And, wait, you mean to tell me that the ruler of Outworld has the Tarkat disease? And is, deporting everybody else that has the Tarkat disease and, barely helping them, making them live in squalor, trying to survive. Meanwhile, our ruler that does have the Tarkat disease is, ruling over us. I mean, that's sort of stupid. That's really dumb. And I don't want to hear about, Baraka's MK ending. It's his arcade ending, or I think he gets help. But I don't want to hear that, all right? Because it's not canon. Anyway, next. Oh, and Mileena, by the way, you can do so much better than fucking Tanya over here. All right? Chameleon was staring at you the entire time. You thought Tanya over here had it bad for you. No. Chameleon was has probably photos of you in her room, and she probably lights candles around them. All right? She looked cooler and had a cooler design than Tanya over here. Better face model too, probably. God damn. Did you let's just talk about Tanya while we're at it. Boom! D tier. I don't give a shit. Alright. First of all, what the fuck was that Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare in Lee May's chapter? Jesus Christ. If you're gonna do a close-up, don't have an ugly-ass fucking face. Stupid bitch. Just like Rain, talked the talk, but didn't walk the walk. I mean, she did beat Johnny Cage, but that's it. That's it. And the only other thing is that she had a crush on Mileena. That's it. And I think they're dating. But, all she did was just get in the way of everybody else. So, she got in the way of, never mind, I'm not going to make that joke. Anyway, yeah, she got in the way of Mileena and Chameleon hooking up. So, next character, Kung Lao. I'm gonna put him in B tier. Alright, I'm gonna put him in B tier. He didn't accomplish a lot. And you know what really pisses me off is that, in Chapter 1, Liu Kang was there watching Raiden and Kung Lao, and he was testing them to see if they were, ready to go to the academy to train for the tournament. And meanwhile, Raiden over here is just defeating NPCs. Kung Lao is here actually putting in work against Smoke, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion. I don't want to hear it. Oh, don't you remember Madame Bo saying that they were pulling their punches? Yeah. Well, if Liu Kang really wanted Raiden to be the chosen one here, he would have put them up against Raiden and not Kung Lao, who is just proving himself to be the chosen one here. First of all, I did not forget the ending in Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, where Liu Kang beats Shang Tsung and goes to Kung Lao and says, "Hey, we gotta train." And Kung Lao was like, "Well, for what?" You know what I'm saying? This was foreshadowing that he was going to be the chosen one. Nope, Kung Lao is just the same motherfucker with the same character flaws that thinks he's better, but gets his butt handed to him in the future. And what the hell? What the hell was Liu Kang's issue with Kung Lao in this story mode? I mean, he was constantly just lowering him below Raiden. He was just putting Raiden up above him. Oh, well, congratulations, Raiden, on beating Kung Lao to be the chosen one. This is not surprising to me. Like, what the fuck does that mean? That's what I would have said if I were Liu Kang. Well, what the fuck does that mean, Liu Kang? It doesn't surprise me. What, did you think Raiden was better than me the whole time? And, when he's talking to the ruler of Outworld, Sindel, he's talking about Raiden being the best of Earthrealm. He's the very... He embodies the very best qualities of Earthrealm's people. Meanwhile, Liu Kang, that just got his ass kicked by Raiden over here, must be having his ego completely shattered to 1,000 uniquely shaped pieces. Like, gee whiz. I guess he's trying to completely destroy his ego, since that was one of his character flaws in the past games, but he's really overdoing it. Come on, Liu Kang. You know what? Kung Lao should be the chosen one here, but no. Anyway, we're just going to give it to a guy, that beat up a bunch of NPCs at a tea shop and, has to have an amulet to use special powers. When literally we don't see anybody else besides Sindel use her abilities. Anyway, Kenshi. S-tier character. He was super... First of all, his entrance in Chapter 2 was badass. Reminded me of a scene somewhere in the John Wick franchise where it's just a cool-looking guy in a suit pulling out a sword. That shit is really nice. Anyway, him and Johnny Cage went together like peanut butter and jelly. Like butter on a toast. Like ketchup and mustard. Okay? Let's see. Me and JD Breezy. Anyway, we get to see him become really like Kenshi from the past. His sword saves him, and then he bodies Ermac, which, I don't know what happened. I guess the sword sucked a bunch of souls out of Ermac. But, dang. And what the hell? Liu Kang saw Kenshi after being blind. And he was like, "Well, I wish that you had been blinded in a different way." What the fuck does that mean, huh? That's what I would have said if I were Kenshi. So I would have said, "So you wanted me to be blind? What the hell? You want me to be blind?" Don't you think that Kenshi would have been more powerful if he wasn't blind? He could still have the amped power of the sword along with his sight. You know what I'm saying? Because we saw what his sight looked like through the sword, and it wasn't that great. So he probably would have been even more powerful if he wasn't blinded. But Liu Kang over here wanted him to be blind, you know, just wishing harm on his friends. Anyway, next character, Johnny Cage. Boom! I said it before and I'll say it again. Johnny Cage is probably the best character in this story mode. His character development is above everybody else's. Alright? Forget about Melina or Baraka or anybody else. Liu Kang, Scorpion. Nobody else has character development that even comes close to Johnny Cage. Or no, it's John Carlton. Fuck you. Everybody else in the story mode, except for his wife, calls him Johnny Cage. I refuse to even call him John Carlton again after this video. I'm done. Anyway, he went from, you know, a failing actor and billionaire douchebag to hero of Earthrealm, you know, and he had some of the best lines. He's the funniest character, you know. We see him flirting with Katana when she's so obviously out of his league. First of all, I would have put Johnny Cage with Katana instead of, you know, putting Raiden with Katana. Did you guys catch that line in Raiden's chapter where he says, "Oh, I wish we could have met in different circumstances"? You know, kind of reminds me of Mortal Kombat 9 story mode where Liu Kang says that to Katana. And then they fall in love after. So, I'm really not going to like that. I'm really not going to like that. You know, if Raiden wanted a baddie in this story mode, he should go with, let's see. Wait, he should go with nobody, because Raiden didn't have a fucking wife or girlfriend. Okay, so he can be Raiden, unlike how he is now. Totally Raiden, guys, totally. Anyway, next character, speaking of baddies, Katana. She didn't really do that great, honestly. She didn't even get a chapter. She lost to Raiden, you know. She didn't pull through at all. Melina pulled through. This was Melina's story mode, not Katana's. Katana, you were completely subpar. You know what? I'm dragging Smoke down as well. Smoke didn't do shit. Besides, you know, provide that test for Kung Lao and Raiden. I mean the Kung Lao, but I've already made that point. Anyway. Enough said about Katana. She really wasn't that important. She didn't really do a lot. Next, Nitara, D tier. The most she did in this story mode was attack Sub-Zero, and she actually wounded Garrus. Like, dang. She could bite me. Anyway, she talked the talk but couldn't walk the walk. Got her ass kicked. And I bet it jiggled too. Anyway, Scorpion. I'm going to give him an A tier. He has good character development. You know, we get that classic Sub-Zero versus Scorpion fight, and which was one of the best fights in the entire in the entire game. Okay, probably I'd rank it about number 3. No, number 2 or 3. You know, that fight and Sindel versus Evil Sindel. Those two are tied in my opinion. You know. What else do I say? I mean, he's a lot nicer to Smoke. He's a good guy. Doesn't really stand out to me at all, to be honest. I mean, all he did was sort of follow around Sub-Zero and try to, like, chill him out. No pun intended. But that was it. He melted Havoc's face which should have already been deformed because that's Havoc's character. Speaking of Havoc, boom, D tier. Again, talk the talk, couldn't walk the walk. Didn't even look like Havoc, by the way. The closest he got to looking like Havoc was in Johnny Cage's Storymode chapter, where it wasn't even part of the story, it was a movie. That was Havoc's best costume. Wasn't even fucking Havoc. What the fuck, NetherRealm? Anyway, next, Sub-Zero. I'm going to give him B tier. He had his own chapter. He kicked ass. I don't like his voice actor. All right, he had a better voice actor. I don't know. Noob Saibot had a better voice than this guy. All right. I don't know what do they do? You know what? Even the actor for Mortal Kombat Mythology's Sub-Zero, remember that game where him and Serena were sort of a thing, and then she got killed like right after by Quan Chi. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Serena's going here too in D tier. Anyway, douchebag. You know, he betrayed the Lin Kuei to the Deadly Alliance, and all he cares about is being the best clan in the world. You know, and nobody else can tell him shit because he's the Grandmaster. Didn't really like him. He wasn't really that cool. Anyway, boom. Liu Kang. Who would have guessed? S tier character. I like his fight between him and the Deadly Alliance a lot because it reminds me of, you know, Raiden's fight against the Deadly Alliance. Of course he loses because guess what? Quan Chi, excuse me, Quan Chi and Shang Tsung both know that if they took him on alone, they would lose. Which Shang Tsung just about does until Quan Chi saves his ass with a snake. Anyway, the kissing scene between him and Titan Katana, just one of the greatest scenes in the entire franchise. I mean, we finally get to see it. We finally get to see it, guys. They finally kissed. And it wasn't like a lame kissing scene either. It was like very romantic, very emotional, you know. Finally, after everything that they've been through, they finally get to show their love for each other, you know. And, you know, they were right. It was like, why does the universe seem to always want to pull us apart? Put a wall between us, you know what I'm saying? Well, just to sum it up, Liu Kang kicked ass. That's why he goes in S tier. He's an awesome character. He pulled off some awesome stunts and helped save the world. He wiped Titan, Shang Tsung, and Quan Chi from history. And he's going to have to do that an infinite amount of times, too. Because if there's supposedly an infinite amount of timelines, then who knows how many times Shang Tsung and Quan Chi team up, you know? Anyway, next is General Shao. You know how much I want to say Shao Kahn so badly? First of all, I'll get into Shao Kahn in a moment, but I'm going to put Shao Kahn in B tier. Well, he didn't really do much. The best he did was have the most badass scene of General Shao is when he had Shinnok's amulet and he sucked a bunch of people inside of it. Into the amulet. You know, when Liu Kang actually felt threatened. He, you know, but basically all he did was talk the talk and walk the walk. No, he didn't walk the walk. He tiptoed the walk, basically. He tiptoed the walk and still tripped on his ass. He got beat a bunch of times. I just wish that, Sindel and Shao Kahn could have been married and be a good couple. In the last game they were a badass couple. I want to see them be a badass couple and be a good couple. But of course we can never have that. MK11 proved that the Sindel x Shao Kahn dynamic worked. But it doesn't work when one is evil and one is not. So they both have to be good. Just a bunch of missed potential. Instead, we have to bring Jared back and make him look as ugly as possible with Ermac's body. Alright? And Jesus Christ, that scene where... I want to say Ermac. Sindel and Jared reunite. I just couldn't... It wasn't emotional for me because I was too busy looking at how fucking ugly the design for Ermac was. They put Jared's face on Ermac. What a disgrace. I mean, they could have brought him back any other way, but then they did this. So don't fucking bring him back at all if you couldn't figure out a way to do it better than putting his face on Ermac's ugly-ass character. And speaking of Ermac, who's in D tier as well, put a fucking mask on. I don't want to see that ugly-ass face. And don't go in the comments saying, well, we saw a lot of Ermac's face in Mortal Kombat X. Yeah, that's because he had a good design, bitch ass. Here he did not at all. Alright, speaking of Sindel, A tier. She got her own chapter. She kicked ass. She had a really cool fight scene between her and her evil twin, who kicked her ass, deservingly so, because evil Sindel is 10 times cooler than good Sindel. Evil Sindel even had a better character design, better costume, and just probably even more powerful, What do I say? She could really show off her authority. She flexed it on some of the characters. She put General Shao in his place. She put Li Mei in her place. She put a lot of the D tier characters back into their place. She is a powerful example of what a female ruler should be. You know what I'm saying? People don't hate strong female characters. They hate bad character design and bad writing. People don't like how their character is designed, and they don't like how badly characters are written. Here, all the female characters, except for Tanya and Nitara, are examples of strong female characters, but are really, really good written characters. The writing is awesome. And they kick ass, and they don't try to make a point about feminism, and they don't make jokes about men, and none of them here are Mary Sue's. So congratulations, NetherRealm, you did another good thing right. I would have thought with this feminism bullshit with Tanya that they were going to make all those jokes. But no. It turns out you can have a good story with a shitty feminist character without making jokes about men and the patriarchy and how women are superior and blah blah blah. You can have a story with a lesbian couple and make it good, and they did that in this story. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that. I forgot her name. Ashra, C tier. I know she had her own story chapter, but after that, we barely saw her at all. So she pulled through a tiny, tiny bit. But that's it. Not even one of my favorite characters at all. I don't even think she should have been in story mode. That's how unimportant she is to me. Anyway, she gets her little hat in Reptile's chapter. You know, when Johnny Cage tells her, look at this hat, it fits you. You know, that sort of struck a warm feeling inside of her, and we get to see her with her hat on. From the 3D era, you know, sort of reminiscent of that. But other than Reptile's chapter and her own chapter, we barely see anything from her at all. So, great job, I guess, Ashra. Anyway, Reptile. A lot of Reptile fans out here, but they really did him dirty. That's why he's going in B tier. I like his backstory. That, you know, he got kidnapped or whatever happened to him that got him in Shang Tsung's hands. And threatened that if he doesn't do what he says, his family dies. But you know what I don't like? His transformations. You know, from reptile to human and vice versa. They should have kept him with a anthropomorphic lizard sort of body, like Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 9. Alright? And MK11, because he was in the crypt. Anyway, I don't know why they had to kill him off. That was such a stupid fucking idea. Anyway, his lizard transformation is ugly as shit. Alright? If they were going to have him transform, they could have just had his skin color turn scaly and green. And have him have the lizard face from MKX. But no, he just had to turn into this disgusting gator sort of lizard thing. Alright? Even his Mortal Kombat 2021 movie lizard design was better than what we got here in Mortal Kombat 1 or 12. Because, you know, it would have been fine if it were 12. Because it was almost nothing like Mortal Kombat 1 except for a single chapter. It was more like the 3D era than it was a Mortal Kombat 1 story. Yeah, there was the tournament, but that's it. That was it. One chapter out of everything. Anyway, not Raiden. Reptile pulled through in his chapter. He really got a glow up in his character writing. Not his character design, but his character writing. That's it. Otherwise, he looks like an e-boy with a terrible reptile transformation design. Anyway, next, Garrus. Garrus, I'm putting him in A tier. He's a cool character. I don't think he was needed because it could have just been Raiden who, excuse me, could have just been Raiden that could have taken his place. But, you know, whatever. We had to have the stupid Raiden thing and blah, blah, blah. Remember when Raiden was going to assist Liu Kang with the hourglass in Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath? Well, not anymore, I guess. What happened to that? What happened to that? You know, Raiden. What did Liu Kang say to Raiden in Aftermath? Was he like, all right, so basically I'm gonna go fight Shang Tsung, and when I beat him, you're not gonna like guide me with the hourglass anymore. I'm basically gonna be in control here. Bye bye, Raiden. Woof, wiped him from history. And now it's just Garrus taking his place. What the actual hell? Like, what? Liu Kang's a good guy, but is he really that much of a good guy? I mean, think of what he did to freaking, what he thinks of Kenshi and Kung Lao and the shit that he does to them. You know, he wanted Kenshi to be blind. He wants to shatter Kung Lao's ego so much that it hurts to even listen to the dialogue and watch the scenes. Anyway, he basically had the power of the power of the Keeper of Time the whole time, but he didn't. He didn't do anything bad with it, and he basically helped save the universe by giving it back to Liu Kang. You know, he saved us with his wisdom. And that's it. He didn't try to be a Terminator at all. He didn't try to be like that. That he was just your gentle giant sort of guy. And last and least, fucking Reiko, D tier, talk the talk, and he tiptoed and tripped on his ass, along with Shao Kahn over here. His number 2, one of Shao's bitches, along with Collector from MK11 and Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat 9. So yeah, one character out of each roster in the game has to be one of Shao's bitches, and in this one, it was Reiko. You know. Anyway, this is my tier list. I know I'm missing some of the cameo characters, but this is the best I could find. If you want a tier list like that that's similar to mine, I suggest going and finding the channel called The Fighter's Den, go looking at his tier list, because it's got the cameo characters in it. I don't know how he found that tier list, but maybe he made it himself, but props to him. But I don't feel like making tier lists. So this is my list. You know, we got the people that walked the walk but couldn't walk the walk, or didn't walk the walk at all. And then we got the people that pulled through a little bit, but either didn't have their own chapter or did have their own chapter, but didn't really do much, and we didn't really see them that much. And then we have in B tier the characters that did a lot, well, did more than the rest, and are cool characters, you know what I'm saying? And we got the A tier characters that were just great. They helped a lot. They contributed to the plot in a very big way. Cool, one of some of our favorite characters in here. And then we got the very best of the story mode. You know, Shang Tsung, Mileena, Kenshi, Johnny Cage, and Liu Kang. The absolute best of the best. Did the most and contributed the most. And without further ado, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And with that said, I will see all of you guys next week back on the flip side. Peace!